Good morning children and welcome to this class. This is class 6th, subject Social Science. Today we are going to start the new chapter. This is chapter number 11 of History and the name of the chapter is New Empires and Kingdoms. Here we will study about the different empires and kingdoms. Those emerged or came in exist or those became powerful near about 17 to 1400 years ago. So it's going to be our lecture number 1. Now let's see the topics that we will cover in today's lecture. They are Prashasti. Prashasti is a type of long inscription in which the praise of rulers or kings were written by the court poets. So that we'll study what is this Prashasti. Then we'll study about Gupta dynasty. One of the important dynasties that are in India. We'll discuss about Gupta dynasty here in this lecture. Second, the third one is Samudragupta's achievement. In Gupta dynasty, one important ruler who was Samudragupta, what were the achievement in the battles or wars that he achieved during his particular time period. So we'll discuss about those achievements here. Then genealogy we will discuss. What does it mean? And Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. One more topic that we'll discuss. Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. Harshavardhana, who was the ruler of Thanesar, and Harshacharita was the biography of Harshavardhana. So we'll discuss about this topic, and then at last there will be the homework that you will be getting on the basis of the topics covered in today's lecture. So let's start the topics one by one. The first topic, that is Prashasti. What is this Prashasti? It is a Sanskrit word. Its meaning is in praise of, means tareef karna. So this is Prashasti and it is the Sanskrit word. How the court poets, they were praising the rulers where they were the court poets. Clear? Here we'll discuss about the example also of Prashasti. This is a special kind of long inscription. Inscription we had already discussed that the written text that is written on the hard surface is known as inscription. So this is a special kind of inscription that was the long inscription. Example of the Prashasti, Allahabad Prashasti. Allahabad Prashasti that was written there on the pillars, and it was written by the court poet Harisena, who was the court poet of Samudragupta. Now let's see. It is written by Harisena, the court poet of Samudragupta. As I told you, Samudragupta, the important ruler of Gupta Empire. Samudragupta was the famous ruler of Gupta dynasty. Clear? So we'll discuss about Samudragupta. I think the meaning of Prashasti, it is clear. Its meaning is in praise of. Basically, during that particular time, almost all the rulers were having the court poets there in their courts. And those court poets were writing in praise of the rulers only and getting different gifts or rewards from the rulers. Next is Samudragupta's Prashasti. What is the Samudragupta's Prashasti, in which, as we talk about the Allahabad Prashasti, that was the Samudragupta's Prashasti. So what is there in Samudragupta's Prashasti? Samudragupta's Prashasti tells us that the poet praised the king in different ways, like a warrior, a king who won victories in battles, and sometimes these court poets even, they imagined the rulers just equal to the gods. So they were writing in praise of the rulers, and here we are talking about Harisena, who was the court poet of Samudragupta. So obviously he praised Samudragupta there in the inscription or in the Prashasti. So as a warrior, even one of the incident it is given there, how he praised as a warrior Samudragupta. Samudragupta the warrior, whose body was most charming, being covered with plenteous beauty of marks of hundreds of scars caused by battles, axes, arrows, spikes, spears, swords, long arrows, and many other weapons. These axes, arrows, spears, sword, these are the names of weapons used there in the battles or wars during that particular time. So here Hari Sen, who is describing that most charming beauty with plenty full of marks or scars on the face, means he was the warrior that he got different scars or marks on the face in the battles. So here Samudragupta is described as warrior in the Prashasti written by Hari Sen. Hari Sen was the court poet in Samudragupta's court. Now let's see the map, particular map in which we can see the different kingdoms, how Samudragupta got the victory over all these. So there the different parts they have been divided. Like if you see this color here, it is the main here Aryavartas were there. Aryavartas 9 rulers were there in this area. Okay, and these were known as all inner states of Gupta Empire. And these inner states, including Bengal, Nepal, they were giving tributes and taxes to Gupta Empire. And this area, this one, and here Sri Lanka, these were the outer states basically. These all states were also following the orders of Samudragupta. And these dots, if you are able to see, these dots, they are also conquered by Samudragupta, means he also got the victory over all these cities. They were also conquered by Samudragupta. Clear? They were known as the different kingdoms there at the Dakshin Patha. Now we'll discuss about all these there, how the Samudragupta, they were following the rules or the orders of Samudragupta and they were defeated by him. Let's see in the different Samudragupta's achievements. Okay, as I told you that Samudragupta's achievements, here we are talking about the achievements in the wars, in the battles. So the first one, Samudragupta was a brave ruler of Gupta dynasty, that we have already discussed. 9 rulers of Aryavarta were uprooted by him. Aryavarta, as I have shown you there in the map, so 9 rulers of Aryavarta were uprooted, means they were completely defeated and merged there with Samudragupta's empire. This one. And 12 rulers of Dakshin Patha surrendered to him after being defeated. As we discussed, the dots I have shown you, the red dots, those were the rulers of Dakshin Patha basically. The cities, those were shown there with the red dots there in the map. So these rulers of Dakshin Patha, they were 12 in number, and some of whose capitals are marked with the red that I shown you. And they were defeated by Samudragupta, and after then they surrendered themselves to Samudragupta. Clear? Then next is the rulers of Assam, Bengal, Nepal, etc. paid tributes and followed his orders. If you remember, in map we had seen inner states. So these Assam, Bengal, Nepal, these were the parts of inner states. They were paying tributes and taxes to Samudragupta and were following the orders of Samudragupta. and at last we talk about the outer states also. Those were Sakas, they are in the northwest, we talk about in the map we have seen, and Sri Lanka. These rulers were also following the orders of Samudragupta, and even they were offering their daughters in the marriages. So these are the achievements of Samudragupta in different wars. And Samudragupta, one more thing if we talk about him, he was lover of music, the great musician he was. So the different pictures of coins, even in the book it is given, in which Samudragupta, who is having Veena there with him in the picture, in the coin. So he was famous as great musician also. He was lover of music. Even he was recited different poems also. So this is all about Samudragupta, the great ruler of Gupta Empire. Now the next topic is genealogy. What does it mean? What is genealogy? Basically, genealogy means the list of ancestors. Like ancestor means purvaj, like grandfather, father, mother, and then the person himself, then his son. So this complete list, that is genealogy. So here we'll discuss about Gupta's genealogy. Genealogy means the list of ancestors or line of descent traced continuously from an ancestor. Descent means vanshaj, as ancestor means the purvas, we can say in Hindi, or descent means they are the vanshaj. So here genealogy means list of ancestors, they are in a line continuously described from ancestor to different descents. So that is genealogy. Gupta's genealogy. Here in the chapter, Gupta's genealogy is discussed. So let's see. Samudragupta's father was Chandragupta I. Who was the father of Samudragupta? His name was Chandragupta I. Now his mother was Kumara Devi, who belonged to Licchavi Gana. That we had already talked there in 7th chapter also about Licchavi Gana. So his mother name was Kumara Devi, who belonged to Licchavi Gana. Samudragupta's son was Chandragupta II. So here that's why the one or second it is mentioned, because two Chandraguptas here. So Samudragupta's father was Chandragupta I and Samudragupta's son was Chandragupta II. Okay, and in genealogy obviously grandfather, great grandfather, they are also described here. So this is genealogy and Gupta's genealogy. Clear about that? Now Chandragupta II. As we talked about Samudragupta, now Chandragupta II. And who were the great people living there in his court? As Hari Sen was the court poet of Samudragupta, so here also in Chandragupta's court, one of the great writer was present there, whom we'll discuss here. Chandragupta II was the son of Samudragupta, the famous ruler of Gupta dynasty. His court was full of learned people. Here means many learned people were present there in Chandragupta II's court. Kalidasa was the poet in his court. He wrote the famous play Abhigyan Sakuntalam. Abhigyan Sakuntalam is the famous play that is written by Kalidasa, and Kalidasa was the court poet in Chandragupta II's court. Here in Abhigyan Sakuntalam, basically it is a story of a king, Dushyant and Sakuntala. So this Abhigyan Sakuntalam, it is written by Kalidasa, who was the court poet of Chandragupta II. The another person, learned person who was there, Aryabhatta, the astronomer and great mathematician, you can say, who invented zero. Aryabhatta, the astronomer, was also the part of his court. Whose court? Chandragupta II's court. So these were the learned people, those we have described here. Kalidasa, the great writer, and Aryabhatta, the great astronomer as well as the mathematician. Clear? Now we'll discuss some of the titles used by the Gupta Empire or Gupta emperors like Samudragupta, Chandragupta I. So they were using the titles with their name. Titles, the main titles that we discuss here, Maharaja and Maharaja Dhiraj. Okay, and Raja, obviously the earlier emperors or rulers they were using. So three are described here, Raja, then greater than that is Maharaja, and then Maharaja Dhiraj. Now let's see which titles they were using. Samudragupta's grandfather and great grandfather used the title Maharaja only. Samudragupta's grandfather and great grandfather, they were just putting Maharaja with their name. Samudragupta and his father Chandragupta I used the title Maharaja Dhiraj. Clear? And if we talk about Chandragupta II, the title used with his name, it was Vikramaditya. Clear? So these were the titles basically that those were adopted by Guptas. So with this we have covered the Gupta Empire. We have taken the Prashasti first of all, then we have taken Samudragupta, Samudragupta's achievements in war, then we have taken Samudragupta, the Gupta's genealogy. Clear? Then Chandragupta II. Now our next topic is Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. Harshavardhana, the great ruler who was the ruler of Thanesar. And Harshacharita was the biography of Harshavardhana that was written by the writer Banbhat, who was the court poet in Harshavardhana's court. As in starting I told you that these rulers of this period, they were having the court poets there in the courts. Clear? Now discuss about Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. Harshavardhana ruled about 1400 years ago, and if we talk about Guptas, they were there near about 1700 years ago. Clear? So Harshavardhana's time period, it was near about 1400 years ago. His court poet was Banbhat, who wrote his biography named Harshacharita in Sanskrit. Clear? So the court poet of Harshavardhana was Banbhat, who wrote his biography, and the name of biography was Harshacharita. It was written in Sanskrit by Banbhat. He was the ruler of Thanesar. And Xuanzang, as we have already covered there in the Chinese pilgrims, Xuanzang spent a lot of time in Harsha's court and left a detailed account of what he saw. So if you remember, we have done that Xuanzang came in India near about 1400 years ago. So he visited there in Harshavardhana's court also. He spent time there and he wrote the written accounts there and left detailed account of whatever he saw, that whatever he wrote there. Okay, we'll discuss about that also, some of the accounts that are given in our chapter also, that will cover in next lecture. Harsha was not the eldest son of his father, but became the king of Thanesar. His father and the elder brother, they both were died. So due to that, Harsha became the king of Thanesar. And when he was king of Thanesar, his brother-in-law was the ruler of Kannauj, and he was killed by the rulers of Bengal. So for taking revenge, Harsha, he had taken the Kannauj back from Bengal rulers, and he even attacked on the Bengal also. he conquered Magadha also. So the victory that is given here, he ruled over Kannauj. As I told you, Kannauj, the ruler of Kannauj was his brother-in-law, but he was killed by the Bengal rulers. But after some time, he defeated Bengal rulers and took Kannauj back from them and attacked on those Bengal rulers also, and conquered Magadha as well. So he conquered, he had taken Magadha also. Even the northern part of India, he conquered most of the part during that particular time, and he tried to go there in the southern part also. But at the bank of Narmada river, he fought a battle with the ruler there, Pulkesin II, who was the ruler of Chalukya dynasty there in South India. That we'll discuss here in the next lecture, who was Pulkesin. Okay, so he was defeated by Pulkesin II there. So his victory that was there in the northern part only. So this is all about Harshavardhana and Harshacharita, where he was a ruler, which areas he covered, and who was the court poet, what was the time period, about the victories, clear, and he was the ruler there in Thanesar. This is all about Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. Now Pallavas, okay, in this particular lecture it is given, it is about Pallavas and Chalukyas, as we talked about Pulkesin II. So here only we'll talk Pallavas and Chalukyas. These were the two dynasties there in South India during that particular time, 1400 years ago. So let's discuss about these Pallavas and Chalukyas. Pallavas and Chalukyas were most important ruling dynasties in South India during that particular time, when Harsha was ruling there in the northern part. In southern part, the important dynasties were Pallavas and Chalukyas. Pallavas' capital was Kanchipuram and Chalukyas' capital was Aihole. So these were the names of their capital. And if we talk about Pallavas, where it was spread near the Kanchipuram to the Kaveri Delta, that we discussed in previous chapter also, Kaveri Delta. So from Kanchipuram to the area around Kanchipuram to the Kaveri Delta, it was spread. Okay, and if we talk about Chalukyas, it was centered around Raichur Doab, means it was there in the Raichur Doab. Doab means the area between two rivers. And here which rivers area, between which rivers the area was? It was Krishna and Tungbhadra. Tungbhadra is the tributary of Krishna river. So Chalukya's area was Raichur Doab, that was between Krishna and Tungbhadra river. Clear? This is all about the area and the capital of these Pallavas and Chalukyas. Now they frequently raided one another's land, especially the capital cities. Frequently raided means they were continuously attacking on each other's land, especially the capital city, as these were the prosperous towns during that particular time. So they wanted to get the win there, particularly the capital cities. The best known ruler of Chalukya was Pulkesin II, about whom I told you when we discussed about Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana was the king about whom Banbhatta wrote, and the court poet of Pulkesin II that will discuss, Ravi Kirti, even and the Zhuangzhang. These all writers wrote about Harshavardhana. So here we'll talk about Pulkesin II now, the best known ruler of Chalukyas, how he defeated Harsha, means Harshavardhana, and he attacked on Chalukyas, on Pallavas also. So let's discuss about Pulkesin II. Chalukyas was the best known here Pulkesin II will come. Pulkesin II was the best known ruler of Chalukya dynasty. They are in the South India. Ravi Kirti was the poet in his court. Means the court poet of Pulkesin II was Ravi Kirti. He led expedition along both the coasts, the east and the west. Coastal area means the area along the coast, the sea coast you can say. So he led expedition, or he had the military expedition along the both coasts. These were the east and the west. He defeated Harshavardhana, that we discussed, that Harshavardhana, he conquered the different places there in northern part. When he tried to come in southern, he was defeated by Pulkesin II there. He also attacked the Pallavas king, who took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. Kanchipuram, as we discussed, it was capital. It was capital of Pallavas. So they took shelter behind the walls of Kanchipuram. This is all about the ruler Pulkesin II, the best known ruler of Chalukyas. Clear? But these victories, they were not so longer. They, after some time, they were defeated by one more dynasty there in South India. It was Rashtrakutas. Clear? So, as we discussed about Gupta Empire, first of all, Gupta dynasty, then we discussed about Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. I hope that these topics are clear to you. And then we have taken Pallavas and Chalukyas. In Pallavas and Chalukyas, the area where it was, the capitals of these both, and then Chalukyas, the best known ruler of Chalukyas, Pulkesin II, we have discussed here. I hope that all these topics are clear to you. Now it's time for homework. The questions that you will attempt, first is, who was Samudragupta? Describe his achievements during war days. So firstly you will write who was he, then his achievements in wars. Then second question, describe in short about Harshavardhana and Harshacharita. Number 3, Pulkesin II was best known Chalukya ruler. Explain in brief. Here you will write about Pulkesin II, who was the best known ruler of Chalukya dynasty. Number 4, define the term Prashasti, that we discussed there in the starting of the lecture. So I hope that all these questions are easy to you, because we have discussed all these. So do all these questions there in the fair register. Thank you for today and have a nice day.